Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with another live stream to go through some of the main stories that have caught my attention today in the press. Lots of election fallout, of course, from last Sunday's elections. Lots of news related to that. And let's just say that the opposition leader, Mr. Feijóo, is a very, very happy man at the moment. Very content with last Sunday's results. And we'll have a look at some stories about that in a moment. Before I get into the news, I'll put the like icon on the screen. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will see it, whether you are on YouTube or Facebook this evening. And we'll also have a look at some comments that have been left recently on the channel, yesterday's video, for example. And then in the second half of the video, we'll go into the chat section here to my right, check out what is happening there, check out what is bubbling away in that chat section. Now, straight into the news. And as I said, Mr. Feijóo, very happy at the moment. He's really up and about. And today he said before the top brass, or the leaders of the PP, the results from last weekend have saved the nation 5 months of Sanchezism. The president of the PP, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, arrived this Tuesday at the party headquarters in Genova Street to chair the national committee of the party, accompanied by several regional leaders, such as Isabel Díaz Ayuso from Madrid, Carlos Mazón from Valencia, María Guardiola, Extremadura, Jorge Azcón, Aragon, and María José Sainz de Buruaga from Cantabria. The result of the 28th of May has saved the nation 5 months of Sanchismo, said Feijóo, who has asked his barons to work for an unequivocal and forceful change for the 23rd of July. Feijóo also thanked Ciudadanos for not taking part in the elections if the National Committee of the party led by Patricia Wasp finally confirms the decision. And I think they have indeed confirmed the decision to not take part, which means votes for the Partido Popular. And as we know, the general election called by Mr. Sanchez yesterday for the 23rd of July. And I'll just say that a lot of people are very unhappy with that date because the end of July is a popular holiday period. Lots of people have taken holidays, school holidays, of course, leading into August, which is the busiest month, but July right up there. And lots of people seeing that perhaps their holiday plans or their vacation plans are going to or might have to change because of this election date called. And let's be honest, who calls an election for the 23rd of July in a European country? I don't think it happens normally in those peak summer months when people are on holidays, not really thinking about this type of stuff. Could have waited for September, Mr. Sanchez, but he decided to I was going to say something nasty there, take revenge on the Spanish population, I think, by forcing them to vote on the 23rd of July, which just goes to show that maybe not as serious as we could be when it comes to some things, and that's definitely one of them. But anyway, we'll see. But a lot of people not happy about the election date, I can tell you that. Another piece of news here with regard to inflation, down to 3.2% in May due to lower fuel prices. Inflation moderated in May to 3.2%, according to the advance figure for the Consumer Price Index published by the INE, the Statistics Institute. The CPI is at its lowest level since July 2021 due to the moderation in food prices and lower fuel prices. Thus, the cost of fuels fell and the shopping basket rose less in the fifth month of the year than in May 2022. The leading CPI indicator shows that prices fell again in May, with inflation dropping by 0.9 of a percentage point in monthly terms. With this decline, inflation resumed its downward trend after rising by 0.8 of a percentage point in April to 4.1%. Core inflation, which excludes fresh food and energy prices, also fell by 0.5 point in the last month to 6.1% in May. So a bit of relief there when it comes to spiraling prices. Inflation moderating to 3.2% interannual inflation, that is, of course, comparing statistics to the same time last year, 3.2%, and down, as we can see, from 4.1%, the interannual change last month. So some positive news there, which is good to see. Another piece of news is this one here about the water reserves here in Spain. And apparently they've fallen again despite the heavy rains in May. The heavy rains, at times even torrential, that Spain has received in the last week have not prevented a further reduction in the amount of water in reservoirs, which remains at a total of 26,640 cubic hectometres. The reservoirs are at 47.5% of their capacity. This is 0.2% less than last week, which is at least a reduction in the weekly rate of decline in these levels. The situation, therefore, continues to be worse than last year, which was already very negative at this time. At that time, the reservoirs were at 49.5% of their capacity. The gap with the average of the last decade, 68.5%, is dramatic. The most affected basins continue to be the Guadalquivir, which is at 23.8%, and the Guadalete-Barbate at 25.3%, and the internal basins of Catalonia, 25.6 degrees. So, bad news there, I would say, that the water reserves didn't increase all that much despite the torrential rains that we have had. Very heavy rain falling the last week and a half, maybe. Here yesterday, a very heavy shower causing chaos in the capital city, Madrid. Metro suspended, trains, light rail suspended, airport flights having to be diverted to another place. So very heavy rains, and of course the amount of rain that fell in a very short period of time, not able to handle it was the drainage system, which is common when we get those heavy gota fria or dana rains, which is what they're called nowadays. And the final piece of news, this one here, and this article was brought to my attention today. Killer whales wreck boat in latest attack off Spain. Killer whales severely damaged a sailing boat off the coast of southern Spain, the local maritime rescue service said on Thursday, adding to dozens of Orca attacks on vessels recorded so far this year on Spanish and Portuguese coasts. In the early hours of Thursday, a group of Orcas broke the rudder and pierced the hull after ramming into the Mystique on its way to Gibraltar, prompting its crew of 4 to contact Spanish authorities for help, a spokesman for the Maritime Rescue Service said. The service deployed a rapid response vessel and a helicopter carrying a bilge pump to assist the 20-metre, 66 feet vessel, which was sailing under a British flag, he added. The Mystique was towed to the port of Barbate in the province of Cádiz for repairs. So I'll just say thanks to the person that sent this through today. I think it was Ernie. He sent me through something similar yesterday, but this was another attack. And as we can see here, there have been dozens of these Orca attacks on vessels recorded so far this year. Haven't seen a lot in the Spanish press, not really dominating considering what's going on politically in this country. So that news slipping under the radar locally. I did see a brief story not long ago, but thanks Ernie for bringing it to my attention in the Yahoo News. So not safe sailing in that part of the country off the coast of southern Spain and Portugal because of these giant killer whales attacking boats. So watch out if you are planning to sail in that part of Spain or Portugal in coming months. Be careful. Now into the comment section I'm going to go now. Check out what is happening there. I'll just put the like icon on the screen again. If you haven't hit it, please do so just below the video. And we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today. Now the first comment left from Mike. Sit on the fence, Stu. Yeah, I sit on the fence when it comes to politics sometimes. I don't really have a strong view on either side of politics. Sometimes I get fired up by certain things that happen. Sometimes I get fired up by certain decisions that have been taken by people in authority. But in general, I take a fairly middle of the road, sitting on the fence view when it comes to politics. If I wanted to increase the viewership of these videos, I could probably take one side of politics or the other and just constantly attack it, which is what some people do. But you have to be able to remember the things that you said. So I think it's, if you want to keep going with that argument, so I think it's easy just to accept that people have ideas on both sides. Some work, some don't. and we just have to accept what there is. What I don't like, and I've said it on numerous occasions, is the extremes, the extreme ideas, where you get people telling you what you have to do, how you have to think, and all of that type of thing. I don't really agree with that type of policy, and that pops up every now and again in politics in this country. I'm sure other countries as well, but in general, when it comes to politics, I do sit on the fence. One here from Joy. Hi, I do hope the PP do not end up doing a whole load of botch-ups like the Tories have been doing in the UK. I'm sure they will, Joy. I'm sure it's just a question of time before they botch something up, as we have seen over the last few decades. If you've been living in Spain for a while, you will know that political parties, or any other country's political parties, most definitely will get it wrong at some point in time, and it could cost them the elections, which we saw the other day with Mr. Sanchez, his refusal to listen to what people were telling him. He only likes to listen to positive comments and people telling him that he's going down the right path, and was basically rejecting everything else that was being said. And we saw that result in the elections on Sunday. But as Joy points out there, I reckon it's just a question of time. If the PP wins at a national level, of course, they've taken over various autonomous communities, but that doesn't really get people agitated in this country. When the PP takes over the central government, if they take over the central government, we'll see, no doubt, general strikes. We'll see people take to the streets, and we'll see a lot of people complaining about different things, and that will lead to probably irrational politics from that political party, and the same fate will happen to them, which happened to other leaders in that party, as I said, over the last few decades. We'll see. Another one here from Larry. Voting is also compulsory in Belgium, says Larry. Yeah, we mentioned this yesterday because there was a 62% turnout, I think, nationally for the municipal and regional elections. Of course, not every autonomous community had elections. Andalusia didn't have elections. The Basque Country, I don't think, had elections. Catalonia as a whole didn't have elections, but they had municipal elections, of course. 62% turnout, and I mentioned that in Australia, somebody also pointed out that in Brazil, voting is compulsory. If you don't vote in Australia, you get a fine. It's not a huge fine, but it is a bit of an inconvenience. And of course, in Belgium, as pointed out there by Larry, it is also compulsory. Now, you could argue for compulsory voting. You could argue against it. Some people say, it's not democratic if you're forced to vote. But then again, if only 50% of people show up to vote, is that really democratic? Is that really democratic? I don't know. But there's a debate on both sides, as there normally is. Another one here from Liz. That background picture of Asturias was great. One of the nicest I've seen so far. Great photography. Yeah, so this is Gino's photo that was on the backdrop yesterday. It was a sunset, I believe, or the sun was starting to go down over Asturias. And of course, when you get a lot of definition, or a lot of shadows and different lights in your photo with clouds and the sun peeking through the clouds and the greens and the different colours, it did make for a fantastic photo. So thanks, Gino, for that. And a few people did point out that they were very impressed by the photography. So, Gino, you've got some fans of your photography out there. I don't know whether you publish, Gino, but if you do, let us know, and we'll point some people in your direction to check out more of your pics. And we've got another one of yours, not today, but maybe next week, popping up as well. Thanks, Gino, and thanks, Liz, for the comment. Another comment here from Stephen. The Spanish gifted Gibraltar to the British in the Treaty of Utrecht in 1713. So what's the problem? Yeah, somebody mentioned this yesterday. Why do the Spanish get upset with Gibraltar when they've got their own issues in the north of Africa with Ceuta and Melilla? Now, if you listen to some people here, they'll say, oh, they're not the same. We had those parts in the north of Africa a long time before Morocco was even a country. That's the argument that I've heard. Again, I haven't gone into the history books to see if that is the case or not. But when, as somebody else pointed out, when you populate these places with your nationals, they do become difficult to change the political situation. And every now and again here in Spain, they talk about Gibraltar. When there's a PP government, they talk about trying to get it back. The socialists are negotiating something at the moment with the border, I believe. So it's always a thorn in the side of different governments. And as pointed out here by Stephen, so what's the problem? The Spanish gifted Gibraltar. I think they ceded it after the treaty there. Maybe there was a war that they lost or something like that. But remember that I think that Hong Kong was also ceded to the British, but we know what happened to Hong Kong. And I think it'll be an ongoing problem if Gibraltar remains the way it is. The Spanish will always make claims for it, and we'll see what happens. Well, at the end of the day, I imagine it will be up to the people in that area to decide, and if they have done so previously, great. They can choose whatever they want, but if they want to join Spain, that would have to come down to some type of referendum or something like that, and I'm not sure how people would vote. But I imagine they're quite happy living down there in their little bubble, their little British bubble in the south of Spain, where they don't have to put up with the rubbish that comes out of Madrid when it comes to political decisions. Probably that would be the point of view of many people living in Gibraltar, but I can't speak for them. And the final comment here from Alex. Hi, just found your videos really interesting. We're going to relocate to Spain this year. Just wondering what your opinion on buying now is. UK prices are falling fast with high interest rates. Is the same happening in Spain? We were looking at Valencia too, but noticed a lot has come on the market and a lot reduced in price. Yeah, not sure what's going on with the property market. I'm not really in touch with it because I'm not looking to buy or sell, but I'm sure that there are many people that watch these videos that have a better idea of what's going on than I do, Alex. So we'll leave it open to the community as I normally do with this type of question, whether it's a chat tonight or whether it's a comment left on the video subsequently. I'm sure somebody will give you an answer. There are experts in this field. I get some emails sent to me about Spanish property insights, and but I will say that the Mediterranean corridor historically is a very hot area for property, with all of the interest from foreign residents to looking to move to that part of the country. Not necessarily only British people, but people from Belgium, Belgians, Dutch, Germans, French. Lots of other European nationalities looking to go to that part of the world because, as we know, the weather is the draw card for that part of Spain. But if anybody's got some better advice for Alex, whether it's a good time to buy, please let him know in that chat or comment section. Now that's the end of the news and comments, so it's time to go into the chat section and find out what's happening there. Before I do that, I will change the backdrop. This one was, I was going to put this one on yesterday, but of course Gino's picture stole the show. But this one was sent in from Benjamin, and it's Tarifa down there in Cádiz, a very southern point of Cádiz, of course, and the sun going down again. And we had a picture from Benjamin a couple of weeks ago, I think, with a kite surfer in it. This is the one without the kite surfer, but we can see the beaches down there. A lot of tidal activity, of course, the water coming in and coming out frequently, and that's what you get left with at low tide, I imagine, down there. So thanks, Benjamin, for this picture. Great shot of that sun going down. And if you've got a similar picture that you would like to see on the backdrop, the address is this one here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Send it through there. If you've got something else you'd like to share, for example, about killer whales or anything else that's caught your attention in the press about Spain, and you think that it would be an interesting topic of debate on the channel, that's the email address. And the like button also, please hit the like button if you haven't done so. And I'll just say thanks to people that have supported the channel or are continuously supporting the channel through Patreon, buying me a coffee, which comes in handy every now and again to wet my whistle with a coffee or two. Thank you very much. And also the super thanks and super chat, super sticker options that are available. Thank you for your support. Now, into the chat section I go. let's have a look. Some regular names popping up already. Sani, the first one that I can see, saying hello from Basingstoke. Warm and sunny there still. So the UK getting a good racha, a good period of fine and sunny weather, which is good to see. Good to see. Ed coming in from Barcelona. I got your email earlier today, Ed, or recently I think it was, maybe an hour or so ago, about the noisiest cities in the world, and I saw Madrid was on the list, so I'll be looking at that one soon, Ed. Thanks for that. Jose Antonio coming in from the royal city that is Ciudad Real, down bang smack in the middle of the country in the Castilla-La Mancha autonomous communities, which almost changed governments, Jose Antonio. I saw your president, Mr. Page, P-A-G-E, I call him Mr. Page, but here they call him Mr. Page, was complaining that he didn't get a congratulations from Prime Minister Sanchez. So he's a little bit angry about that, but as we know, he is one of the most vocal opponents of Mr. Sanchez inside the same party. And as we know, the Socialist Party currently, there's a revolution happening inside there. And I'm sure that Mr. Page is looking for an opportunity, I would say. What else? Andrew coming in from London, southeast. Overcast there. Esperando que todos estemos bien. Thank you very much for that. Pauline's also in the chat. Wet and stormy Rojales, where the storm appears to be passing. Love the contents. Please keep it going. Thanks, Pauline. I will do. Thanks for those kind words. Andrew coming in from Mariña today. Pleasantly hot, 28 degrees. A bit hazy. Un día. It's one of those tricky ones, that one, Andrew. Un día preciosa. Thank you very much. Un día precioso. Erica coming in from a grey Terrassa. Only a few drops of rain, unfortunately. Hope everyone is fine. We saw the Catalonian water basins very low, Erica. Hope that's not where you guys are getting the water from there. CH in the chat as well. Glad that they can join the live show. Greetings from a cloudy North London. So sunny in some parts, a bit cloudy in others. Not sure if there's any rain coming through or not there. Hilda's in the chat. Didn't see you yesterday, Hild, but this is the reason. Hangover from the election results. How stupid can people be, says Hild. Obviously not happy with the way the country voted, or Hild's particular town hall, I imagine. Mugger coming in from El Campello, back from sunny Dublin. Probably raining down there at the moment, Mugger, is it? Let us know. Alan, coming in from London today, unfortunately on the way back to San Diego. So only a short stay, Alan. Hope all is well. Well, that's right. You went on a cruise as well, didn't you? So that's probably where the time was taken up. Janet coming in from Oxford. Regular viewer is Janet. Nice to see you there, Janet. Gigi's also here. Another regular viewer. Sunny 90 degrees there. Pool day most certainly. Thanks, Gigi. I saw your email also. And check out Gigi's channel for advice on the Camino de Santiago if you are thinking of doing that walk in the future. Gigi has plenty of information on her channel about the Camino. So check it out. Richard coming in from North Yorkshire, a bit cooler and duller today, but pleasant and dry. Missed 2 live streams, but we'll catch up ASAP. Hope all is well. Thank you very much for that, Richard. Marianne coming in as well from the States. Hello, Marianne. Public holiday in the States yesterday, as we saw, the Memorial Day. Everybody back to work today. Renan coming in from a cloudy Southern California. Hello, Renault. Hope all is well. Stephen coming in from Enfield. Overcast there too, as we have been told. North London, a bit overcast. Pat coming in from Galicia, I think. Pat, is it still Galicia where you are? Thanking me for the news. No worries, Pat. You're welcome. Sanchez is a WEF puppet. WEF puppet. Alan with a strong opinion there on Facebook. Pamela coming in from San Juan de los Terreros in, don't know where that is, but sounds like a nice place, San Juan de los Terreros. Ross coming in from Andorra la Vella tonight. Sunny there, says Ross. Thank you, Ross, for that. Diffie coming in from Montreal, Canada. Balmy 31 degrees Celsius there. So summer obviously started in that part of the world, right, Diffie? Oscar coming in from Houston, Texas. Un poquito fresco ahí. El calor no ha llegado hasta la fecha. Yes, Houston, Texas. Not too warm yet, but I'm sure it will come. Christoph coming in from sunny West Palm Beach. Hello, Christoph. Hope all is well there. Dave coming in from Bulgaria. Looking forward to 90 days in Barcelona coming up soon. Absolutely, Dave. 90 days in Barcelona. I can imagine. Diffie recommends, enjoying a sneaky little creatures. Pipsqueak, I think that is. Apple cider. Highly recommend. Thanks, Diffie. It's an Australian brand, I think. Little creatures. Jose Antonio coming in. We mentioned Jose Antonio before. Here with tuna now entering the traps right there. That's why there are so many orcas. It is not new. Jose Antonio always has an answer to these questions about nature. Birds, orcas, fish, you name it. Jose Antonio's got the info. Kimberly coming in from New Hampshire, which I imagine is in the United States. Not sure if is there a New Hampshire? I know there's an Old Hampshire in the United Kingdom. Is there a new one? Don't know. Speaking of politics, Mark McGowan is gone. Thank God, the Castro of WA. Wow, a very popular man, Mr. McGowan. Very, very popular man. And it also helps when there's no opposition, of course, Diffie, right? Greetings from Seattle. Grant, a.k.a. Old Guy Doing Stuff. Turned to the spring. Years ago, somebody ran a pipe from a natural spring to a fountain down the street from my house. It normally flows 24/7. There we go. They turned off the spring. Okay. So what's that? Water shortages, Grant, there? Turning off that spring. Orcas are dangerous, says Rossa, close to the shoreline. They often beach themselves to catch unwary seals and penguins. It's only a matter of time before they realise there's a bigger prey on offer. They are highly intelligent. There we go. Thanks, Rossa, for that. Donkey votes in Oz, though. Whatever that means. Alan also here as well. Doesn't really like the idea of compulsory voting. It makes individuals servants of the state, and that's a slippery slope. Well, yeah, it's an argument there. As I said, there's an argument on both sides of everything if you want to listen to it. And some people are in favour, some people are against, but yeah, it is what it is. Larry has it wrong. There is no compulsory voting in Belgium. There we go. Yusuf setting Larry straight. There's compulsory attendance. Big difference. You can vote blank. Okay, there we go. We can vote blank in Australia as well if you want. Yeah, so Diffie's also saying that it's not compulsory in Australia. You just get your name checked off the list and then not vote. Yeah, but you still have to go and get your name checked off the list, which means that you still have to go to the electoral station. So you can't go away on holiday, which is my point before. So you still have to be present there, whether you decide to go in and do whatever with your vote. You might want to rip it up and put it in the bin, but you're still there, right? So in theory, it is a compulsory vote. You can't just, I'm just not going to vote this weekend because I've got a wedding, but in Australia you have to cancel your wedding or vote before you go to your wedding. And if it's an interstate wedding, you probably have to vote before, right? Whereas here, if you don't want to vote, or in a lot of other countries, you just don't even rock up. You just don't even, no one's going to say anything. But if you don't get your name ticked off the list, you'll get a fine, which is my point. What else? Jose Antonio is saying that we have now domesticated killer whales here in Spain to attack vessels from Gibraltar. Bit of humour thrown in there. Hopefully someone doesn't take it seriously, Jose Antonio. You never know. Yusuf says that I think we need to rethink the whole political system. I've never had any faith in representative democracy. Politicians are too often detached from the grievances from the populace. It's might have to rethink it. What do we go back to something that we had in the future? Maybe absolute monarchies, maybe dictatorships, maybe, or do we try and invent something new? Go into unseen territory, Yusuf. Don't know. Let us know. Hong Kong was a lease. Gibraltar never had a time frame attached to its sovereignty. There we go. Alan setting the record straight on that. But it no doubt is the case. But the British could have not respected the lease, right? But they didn't. The British, the Gibraltarians overwhelmingly voted to remain British. Yeah, that's what I thought was the case down there. I thought that was the case. Do I lean on the expats? No, I don't lean on the expats. In fact, I have no contact with expats, to be honest. Maybe one or two people that have gotten in contact, but I don't belong to any expat communities. I have a Spanish friend network, Diffie, which I think is important, especially if you're living here. Of course, I think it's important to know what's going on locally rather than living in that foreign resident bubble, which a lot of people do live in. Of course, I had contact with people because of the job that I do. When I was teaching English, you're always working with other people that are similar to yourself, whether they're from the States or Canada or UK, Ireland. But I've never gone out of my way to join these expat clubs. 20 years ago, I played sport, and of course the sports that I play, other foreign residents play those sports, but no, not really. Dave, it's not compulsory to vote. Here we go again. But it's compulsory for all eligible. This is my point, right? You have to go and have your name ticked off. So the theory is that when you have to do that, then you go in and leave your vote. And again, you can leave a blank vote if you want, I suppose. But if you've got to go to the polling station while you're there, have a sausage, have from the sausage sizzle, and vote at the same time. Why not? Miguel coming in from Derbyshire, there in the UK. Cloudy but dry. We should be able to fire politicians if they are found to be corrupt, for example, or has just done an abysmal job, says Yusuf, putting some ideas on the table for the next democratic steps. Tanya coming in from an extremely hot Florida. Any advice for a 22-year-old with no studies, only high school, that would like to move with Spain with little savings? I wouldn't, Tanya, unless you can get some studies under your belt. Okay, that would be my advice, because Spain is a country where people have to leave, locals have to leave if they can't get a job, which a lot of people can't. So if you're planning to come here, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it in that situation, especially with not a lot of money behind you. That would be the issue, Tanya, because you're going to spend a lot of money to get here and to get set up. So probably settle down for a couple of years. That would be my advice. Sort of work out, what you can do there to improve your education, and maybe get a definite plan to move here with something on the ground. And because with education, it's the key. If you want to get into this auxiliares de conversación, that could be an option. But again, I'm not sure what the qualifications, whether they require a degree or some type of post-school studies. So check that out. Let's have a look here. There was a referendum in Gibraltar. Yeah, I think we mentioned that, 2002. They overwhelmingly rejected sharing sovereignty with Spain. Yeah, of course, that's it, because they live better than the people on the other side of the fence. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to work that out. What else we got going on here? Overcast and cool in Londinium, says Wooden Table. Menorca was also granted to Britain in the Treaty of Utrecht and was offered to the Netherlands, but they declined. There we go. So Menorca obviously went back to Spanish control and is now a popular holiday destination, of course, as we know. Tony coming in from Chalot in the Chalon Valley. The rain has stopped finally. Thank you very much for that one, Tony. We saw that one there from Ignace. Definitely learn Spanish. Maybe look for English teaching jobs. But again, the education issue, because they're always going to choose somebody that's got a university degree over somebody that doesn't. Unfortunately, it's the way that it works. You might not need to have a speciality. Degree is what they're looking for, but I don't want to tell you to come here and you're not going to find what you're looking for, Tanya. And if you do decide to come here, make sure that you've got a return ticket just in case. Don't you wouldn't be allowed to come with a one-way, I don't think, but always have a plan B. That would be my suggestion. Thousands of foreigners who live on the Med are legally resident, voted in the local election. In the general election, we cannot vote, so these votes are lost. Yeah, that is probably true. We've got a super chat from NVN. Thank you very much for that, for a coffee. Thank you very much, NVN, for that. Generous of you. Greatly appreciated. Quentin coming in from a sunny Granada. Thanks, Quentin, for your input there. The Panama hat coming in from Malta. Greetings to you too. Big J, can't speak for Dublin, but 26 degrees in Cork today. Catching some sun, going nice and brown. Yeah, good to see that Ireland is getting some good weather, but I suppose it's the time of year, right? Leslie, also in the chat, one of my teenage students mentioned today that the reason for the change in election date is because Sanchez has had enough of being president. Has anyone heard this? Yeah, there's lots of rumours circulating as to why. Some of them make sense, some of them don't. I don't think he's had enough of being president. I think if he could, he would be there for a while longer. That's the impression that I get, and other people that I speak to get. I think he's trying to, as I said, stop a revolution in his own party. Remember that he was kicked out of his own party 6-7 years ago, and he made his way back to the top. So you've got to hand it to him for that. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are after him, definitely, and especially given those results, because a lot of the power brokers, as they call them, and the barones, as they call them here, the barons, lost their jobs. For example, Extremadura, Aragon, powerful people in that party that are not happy with the direction that the country's taken, because they're the ones that have to deal with the election fallout, right? So if you're taking decisions at a national level that people in your autonomous community are not happy with, they're going to take it out on you. So that's what's happened. Yeah, the Gibraltar Treaty was a permanent one. There we go. Liz saying that one of the best setups in YouTube because you interact with the subscribers. Keep it up. Thanks for that, Liz. The idea was that, to listen to what's going on, listen to what people are saying in the chat, you know. I changed the format. I didn't always have this format. I sort of used to bring it in during the video, the interaction, but I went for the second half interaction. I think it seems to be working. I can't complain. What's going on here? Let's have a look. Alan's saying that they have a VIP version of the Governor. Wonder if it's related to the popular one on your channel. Don't know, Alan. It could be. Don't know. I'm sure other people would be able to fill us in on that. Simon is back home in Ireland for sunny weather. Next trip, Finland, after repairs for the van. Simon back there. Alan coming in from the Alpujarras. Chilly evening, and we had lots of rain and cold in the last few days. Desperately needed the rain. Odd in May, but hey, yeah, I think it's a lot of people have that sentiment, Alan. A little bit strange, the stronger rains at this time of year, normally coming in April, of course, and later on in the year, but take them when they fall. Take them when they fall. What's the equivalent of a Bunnings sausage sizzle in Spain? There's nothing. It doesn't exist. You Yusuf saying, definitely not returned to the monarchies or, God forbid, authoritarian regimes, but indeed something new. The current form of democracy simply isn't working. Yusuf putting those ideas forward. Orcas must be concerned for the refugees coming over in the small boats and dinghies. Haven't heard anything about that for a long time, Rosa, to be honest. I don't know what the situation is currently, but it could be an issue if those orcas are angry. Menorca is now under British and German control. Correct. From the amount of tourists living there. Carl's in the chat. Hola, boa tarde de Portugal. Stu. Hello, Carl. Hope all is well. Good morning, Portugal. Check out Carl's channel. Bronny's here as well, coming in from Swansea, South Wales. Blue skies and 17. Almost a summer's day. Angela and John coming in also from Menorca, the British and German-ruled island there in the Balearics. Thank you very much, Angela, for that. Super sticker from Outdoor Chill. Thank you very much for that. Greatly appreciated. I'll put that towards my coffee tally for this week. Thank you very much. And also to the one that we had previously. Lennon, hi, Stuart. Hello. Hope all is well. What else we've got going on here? Let's have a look quickly before I bring the live stream to an end. We're up to the 41-minute mark, so a couple more minutes, I think. I'm almost at the end. Lennon asking the question, will Autónomos get a break with the PP? I find Podemos a disaster in the PSOE too, but is the PP any different? The answer to that is no. I don't think there will be any change to the Autónomo system. Once these things get put into place, they are here to stay. There might be a bit of a difference if the PP gets elected when it comes to taxes. They might decide to bring back some of the taxes that have been imposed by the socialist government. Not sure, but I don't think any of the current laws will change. But there will be some differences when it comes, as I said, well, I'm only speaking hypothetically, of course, because Mr. Feijóo has to win that election first, and there's no guarantee that that'll happen. But if there is a change at a national level, then the Catalonian situation will change again. That'll turn for the worst, no doubt. There will also be a change with the relations between the Basque Country and the central government as well, because that always happens. And as I said, with regard to Autónomos, I don't think there'll be any changes because those plans that have been set up by the current government are apparently to make it a fairer system. I can't really see that that's true, but I can't see that these things will change. So no changes. But I could be proven wrong. I always stand to be proven wrong with anything. Let's have a look. The idea that house prices are going to crash in the UK is for the birds. Demand massively outweighs supply because of the planning restrictions. There will be a small correction, says Alan. There we go. Thanks for that. Cuenca, Peter's coming in from Sisante. Don't know where that is. Sounds like a small town. Rainy again there. I wonder if we're going to get a cooler summer. Yeah, I'm not sure what the prediction is for the summer, but I noticed there's a lot of publicity for air conditioning units at the moment, Peter. So if that's anything to go by, get ready. Remember that the 23rd of July last year in Madrid was a 40-degree day, and that's also something that people are complaining about, given that they will have to vote on that same date this year. So people are hoping that it's not going to be a 40-degree day. Any plans to return to Australia? What, for a holiday, Diffie? Absolutely. For a couple of weeks or 2 or 3 weeks? Absolutely. Long term? Difficult, considering the prices down there. I've been priced out of Australia. But anyway, such is life. Let's have a look. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look here quickly. Stephen coming in as well, getting a bit late. Going to watch you catch up later. Thanks, Steve. Thanks very much for that. One here from Jay. Love the tie. Do you think what the West is saying about what's happening in Ukraine with the war is fake news. Some of my clients thinks it's most of it is propaganda. No idea, Jay, to be honest. No idea. No idea. Don't like to talk about things that I don't really have an idea on. And but anyway, I'm sure other people will have I will have another idea. It was just something that was mentioned by Jose Antonio, Angela and John. Mallorca, probably the more German one there, but I think Jose Antonio was the person that mentioned that. Antonio saying that the new PP plus Vox will reduce taxes. Well, there's no guarantee that Vox is going to be in the central government. We'll also have to wait and see. They might creep into autonomous community governments with a very minority representation, considering that the PP was the big victor at the weekend. But we'll see. What else? Let's have a look here quickly. Yeah. So I'm going to wrap the live stream up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating in the chat. Thanks to the 2 super chats that came through earlier. Greatly appreciated. I'll be back again on Thursday with another live stream. Maybe I'll do a video tomorrow. It depends on my schedule for the day. But if not, I'll be back again on Thursday at 7:35 p.m. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adiós.